All right. Good morning, loves. I am here for another Fertility Friday. Um, Wanting to just take a little time today to talk about how it is that we can create a path to ultimate healthy fertility. This is something that we all hopefully are striving for. Good morning. Striving for because to be in a position of low fertility, whether it is due to secondary infertility or um, primary infertility, it certainly is a space that is very difficult to navigate, very difficult to endure. And so it's such an amazing experience to develop a path and develop a plan and to feel like you have a way out, to feel like there is something that you can be doing to support your fertility. And so, good morning. And so today I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. This is a book that I picked up a while ago. It's called The Infertility Cure. It's by Dr. Lewis. She has a master in science in traditional Chinese medicine, Oriental medicine, and basically her stance is that she has a chapter that basically says it's titled "There's no such thing as infertility," and and she talks about the myth of infertility. And basically, she goes on to say, I'll just read a little bit. Rarely have I met a woman of childbearing age with all her reproductive organs intact who is incapable of bearing children. As long as the anatomical structures are present, a medical diagnosis of infertility is often a fallacy. Many factors can cause a woman to have difficulty conceiving, but once those factors are overcome and a woman's body is restored to health, conception can occur naturally. Restoring optimal health permits the expression of our natural fertile state. So that is, I don't know when I got this book, but it certainly aligns with my philosophy, my approach, my methods of how I support my clients, and as you know, how I support it myself. So I am, uh, very last day, in fact, just thought about that very last day of my first trimester. This is the longest, the best way to say it is, this is the longest that I've been pregnant since I had my daughter originally, or, I had my daughter and have had two miscarriages post. And so this is the longest that I have been pregnant since Reagan. And so, I'm definitely feeling all the feels, but, being in a position of, I didn't understand or wasn't aware that I had low fertility or secondary fertility when I started this work, but I found myself in a place where I was my own client and my own needing my own help. And so, I'm so thankful to have this knowledge. But I use everything that I know to help create a fertile lifestyle for myself. So I went and dug deep and found a root cause. A lot of times we're giving diagnoses and we think, oh, that's it. I have, excuse me, I have been diagnosed with diminished ovarian reserve, or I've been diagnosed with, which is under the umbrella of premature ovarian failure or ovarian insufficiency, or sometimes the diagnosis may be something like luteal phase defect, all these things, right? So we are giving these diagnoses. I never pursued that path to find a diagnosis because I understand that it doesn't matter what you can label it. I want to know, what does it look like? What is the presentation? How does it affect my cycle? How does it affect my fertility? And then also, I want to know, what is the root cause? I don't care that my ovaries have low reserve, that they have low output. I want to know why they would prematurely have low output. So the it's one it's, I guess it can be useful. It depends on your approach and your mentality, but it just depends on what you believe or what your focus is on and your values and your priorities. If you need these diagnoses or not. And um, yeah, it's what you believe to be true for yourself and your fertility. Is this something that you are going to hang your fertility on? Okay, I else with premature ovarian insufficiency or failure, and so do you just stop there? Like, this is where you're going to hang your hat on? No, you should be looking for ways to improve it. Certainly, often we are presented with the option of pursuing IVF or other assisted methods first, but that is also a fallacy. That should not be the first line of defense, because it is often unnecessary. It is often, it can be useful for sure, but it's often an unnecessary step because it is so invasive, because it is so costly, because it requires so much of the physical body. Like, IVF takes a lot out of you. As anyone who has gone through cycles, I personally have not, so I'm not speaking from experience, but excuse me. But just know that it is not completely benign. It's not completely benign, and there's a bit of a give and take, to pursue or choose to pursue IVF. And so to understand that there are other first steps, such as holistic health options, such as improving your health, because you heard me say all the time, health is fertility, fertility is health. And so to understand that that's the root cause that you need to be looking for. You can go to a clinic and they'll tell you, oh, you have what will they say? They'll say, oh, your FSH is, really high, meaning that your ovaries aren't responding, or your AMA is low, meaning your egg reserve is really low. And so you can get answers like that. You can get these bullet points, you can get these data points, you can get these values, and kind of be able to use that information to a point. But really what it comes down to is, again, why? What is going on in my body? And so certainly, as I work with clients with secondary infertility, there's definitely a why, because I had that first baby or those first few babies and I didn't have issues. So where did this low, whatever you're talking about, come from? That's what we need to be figuring out. Certainly when you understand that, okay, my body is 100% able to do this. What happened? What changed? What was the point of change? What was the turning point in my health that, has brought me to where I am today? And so what we need to do, and what I do with my clients, is, again, I help them pinpoint the why, pinpoint the root cause. What is it in their cycle? Is it that they aren't ovulating, or are they ovulating and not ovulating well? Even in the realm of understanding, luteal phase defect, even without giving it a name, giving a label, you can see that in someone's cycle. You can see that the second half of their cycle isn't substantial enough to support implantation, to support a healthy egg, to support your body being able to go on to support that pregnancy. And so you can look at that in someone's cycle. You can also look at someone's cycle to figure out your follicular health, and by extension, your egg health, because of course the egg comes from the follicle, right? The follicle is what is housing the egg. So when you look at the first half of the cycle and you see that maybe estrogen isn't increasing like it should, or it takes too long to increase, and maybe where the rise in estrogen is on the cycle is too close to ovulation. So there wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time to let the egg develop and mature as it should. So even when it was ovulated, the egg was ovulated, and maybe there was sperm, you timed sex perfectly and you got it done. And It just wasn't there the health of the egg wasn't there. The original egg wasn't there to support a healthy pregnancy, right? And so have issues later on, like miscarriage. If the egg and the chromosome and all these different things are affected, how the chromosomes are affected by the health of the egg and the health of the follicle originally, this can cause issues later, even if you time sex, right? Even if your partner's sperm is healthy. And so again, it's trying to figure out what are these small underlying things that culminate to, what is it that is painting the picture? What is sometimes I want to call it, what is your type of low fertility? What is your presentation like? What is it made up of? It's made up most likely of multiple points on the scale, issues here, issues there, issues there. Maybe these are small issues taken by themselves, but when you put them all together and you have someone with low fertility, you can get a bigger picture, like, okay, these are the things that they're little grains of sand sometimes, but they are enough to tip the scales, right? If they're added up. And so once we figure out maybe what's going on with their cycle, you can then go on to figure out other things, like what's going on with their thyroid, what's going on with their liver, what's going on with their gut health, and all those beneficial microorganisms that live in our gut that actually participate in our fertility, participate in our health, our whole body health. And so when we're getting this picture, when we're painting this picture, we have all these, I like to say, we have all these rocks to look under. We have all these nooks and crannies that can be explored. And so again, this is the value of pursuing holistic health. This is the value of pursuing and working with someone like myself, who's a integrative nutritionist, who works in the realm of functional medicine. We need to see how well are these things functioning and processing, and how are these systems running in your body. Because going, let's say again, to a fertility clinic, you may test things, like, fertility hormones, maybe some thyroid hormones in there also, things like that. But you're not going to test whole body health. We need to understand, how is your whole body health? Because your womb is not an isolated system. Your womb, of course, is housed and lives in your body with everything else. So you need to understand that everything is working in symphony with everything else. And it may seem that they are separate, but they are very much intertwined and interconnected, and each piece needs to be supported. And so, we just need to do, basically, I call it whole body fertility testing. Not just, fertility hormones. You need to test your whole body and see, because the whole point of this, when we are creating our ultimate fertility lifestyle, the whole point of it is to get your body as baby friendly, as pregnancy ready as possible. Because again, speaking, I use myself as example as often as I can. Again, I had two previous losses, and so it wasn't the getting pregnant that was an issue. And often, if someone else, experiences that recurrent losses, it's not the getting pregnant sometimes that's the issue. Yeah, it could just be egg health or sperm health, that, you didn't have the right pieces to start with. And so there's a certain group of people that applies to, but another group of people, it could also just be that your body's health isn't where it needs to be to support a healthy pregnancy. And again, this is when we talk about early miscarriage, and, having your body having the right tools and pieces and building blocks to sustain a healthy pregnancy. And if it decides that it doesn't, your body will choose or hide, or it will make it so that you can have a miscarriage, because your body understands that the health of the pregnancy isn't there, the health of your body isn't there, there isn't enough to sustain this pregnancy. And so that for a certain group of people, that could also be the case. There could be other things going on where, the uterine lining isn't healthy enough. All these things, I can get into every scenario, in every permutation of this, but there are so many pieces and factors that need to go hand in hand to support, like I'm saying, to support the health of a pregnancy, from even from conception onto the early stages of pregnancy. And so that's why miscarriage in the first trimester is common. This is when your body is still developing all the pieces. The placenta is still developing. The exchange between your body handling, for example, progesterone is made by the follicle that the egg came out of, and so there's a handoff as when the placenta is starting to develop, and then when it is ready, it can start maintaining and supporting the levels of progesterone. So there's certain things that need to happen, and all the nutrition, all the health, and all the protective antioxidants and all the building blocks, all these things need to be in place right during all these points. And so it's important to figure out what's going on systemically, that is maybe interrupting these things. I like to say, there's something blocking. Fertility should flow. Fertility should be a natural part of a healthy lifestyle. And when it's not, you need to figure out, okay, what is blocking it? What is preventing it? What is making it too difficult? And so there has to be something that we can do to support these things. And so this is when you can look, it's kind of as you work yourself backwards. Okay, first you find out the why. Okay, is it something going on with ovulation? Okay, what could be affecting ovulation? Could it be something going on with the liver health and maybe detoxification of sex hormones, and maybe the levels are all off? Okay, take a step back from that. What can be happening within our lifestyle that is affecting our liver health, which is then going on to affect our egg health? Could it be that we have a life that is causing a lot of inflammation? We're living a lifestyle that's causing a lot of disruptions to our detoxification. How's our sleep? How's our movement and exercise? It could be, is it an issue that we're not eating enough? That is definitely a big issue sometimes of women basically losing their cycle, not ovulating, all these things because they the calories are too low, or they exercise too much, or something like that. It can be something that you don't think about that could be affecting your cycle. And so, and that on the flip side too, that excess body fat, you know, I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what size your clothes are. What I care about is what is the excess body fat doing, because it is metabolically active. It means that it is pulling strings. It's in there doing things and calling shots in a way to benefit it. The body fat. The body fat wants to grow and increase mass. So it's pulling strings it, but to your detriment. So it's kind of something that needs to be that way. It also body fat can hold extra estrogen itself. All these things can affect all these things can affect things like your hormone balance, just because you're carrying maybe a little extra weight. So it doesn't have to be, you're trying to get down to a size, whatever, and be, none of that matters. What matters is how are all these things affecting your fertility, right? What can we do? Again, like I said, what rocks can we look under to support your fertility, to make sure that all the pieces are there that needs to be there? Again, getting your body pregnancy ready, getting your body baby friendly, trying to make sure that the if and the when, sperm meets egg, things are going to be in tip top shape. So again, I think about that, with my losses, there was something I feel like when we were trying, it happened easily. So it wasn't, like, barely being able to, the health was there enough to get pregnant very quickly when we desired, but the health wasn't there. Whether it was sperm health, egg health, whole body health, the health wasn't there to maintain the pregnancies. And so, looking at what I can do to change and improve, that's what I did. And so Again, just finding the root cause is what we all should be looking for. And we can then go and, like I'm saying, the ultimate fertility lifestyle. It's not perfection. We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for extreme restriction. We're looking for sustainability, because what we also are doing is improving your health. A healthy body is a fertile body. We're improving your health. And so we're looking for lifestyle changes that will affect your health, that will improve your health for the long term, not just, I bring up IVF not to pick on it or, belittle it in any way, but it is not just this temporary thing where, you have this cycle and you're going through the cycle and you're taking these drugs and this protocol, to get through the cycle. So it's not this temporary thing. We're talking about long-term health, long-term health of you, because also when we're trying to figure this out, we are also not only improving our health, improving our chances of getting pregnant, but we're also improving our the health of our pregnancy. We're improving labor outcomes. We're improving the health and long-term health of our growing baby. As we know, a lot of times a mama gets pregnant and she tries to be very good, and this is when she decides, to well, it's recommended, of course, to stop drinking, and it's recommended to decrease or eliminate coffee, and all these things. But this is when it's okay. I need to, have the best diet, and this is for a good reason. It's very smart, and it's maternal instinct kicking up already, but it's for a reason. You understand that the health of your baby is on the line, basically, from day one, and so to be able to find a lifestyle, find eating habits, finding something that, you know, unique to you and authentic to you, but also something that you can go on to enjoy. It's not meant to be, everyone's not going to be on a raw food diet for the rest of their life. No, that is obviously not the requirement. It is, a little 80-20, making the best effort with the greatest frequency as possible, because that's what it comes down to: dose and frequency. That's what good medicine is built on. Now, nutrition, holistic medicine, this is slow medicine. This isn't, a pill and you're cured in 30 days. This isn't that. This is going down deep on a cellular level, on a systemic level, changing your metabolism, changing the way that your cells communicate with each other, changing the way that your body goes about the task of producing sex hormones or creating your uterine lining every month. Or, every 4 months, you are creating a new egg to be ovulated. This is what it takes. Going deep down and, understanding that it's not going to be just something surface, but we're going for long-term health, long-term benefits, long-term improvement for, postpartum, because we have to think about that whole spectrum, right? We're trying to get pregnant. Labor is called labor for a reason. You definitely want to be in good health. Postpartum is a doozy, right? We understand what's at risk there. Postpartum outcomes are actually starting to be considered a year up until even 3 years sometimes after birth. So again, having good health going into it will hopefully parlay into good health during the whole postpartum spectrum. And again, just improving the health, for no other reason, just improving the health of your baby, and again, the chances of you getting pregnant in the first place and staying pregnant. And so it's not targeted therapy. We're not just going in like, let's improve the womb. We're going in to support the whole body. And you may have heard me say this too. The thing about, again, bringing up IVF, but the thing about it is that you can go in and they can retrieve X amount of eggs, and then you fertilize X amount, and then a certain amount make it to the next stage, and they make it to 5 day, and these number are genetically healthy, all these things, right? And so they find, like, the top of the top, the best of the best, of the original that were retrieved. So you have this amazing, super baby egg, and you implant it, or you transfer it, and it doesn't take. The transfer fails. And so it's often, a wonder, like, why is that? We've overcome all the hurdles. We've let science pull, extract what it needs to extract, do what it needs to do, and now we're just putting it back into our body. What's going on? And the issue is that those same root causes that were affecting your ability, let's say, to ovulate in the first place on your own, those same systemic things are also happening that are also still there, that can still prevent a healthy pregnancy. And so it's all about getting to the root cause, because your body, your healthy body, still needs to carry the amazing super baby egg, um, right? You still need to be in the best shape possible, not weight shape, the best physical shape to be baby friendly, to be pregnancy ready. And so kind of, always the bone that I pick is that both things should be happening simultaneously. If you feel that IVF is for you, you still need to be changing or figuring out the root cause of your underlying health issues. Why is it that my body isn't able to get pregnant on its own? Okay, so I'm going to get a little help to help me get pregnant, but I also want to make sure that my body is healthier than it was yesterday, because my unhealthy body was the same body that couldn't get pregnant, that couldn't ovulate. So I definitely need to be changing that. And so that is certainly true, and the outcomes are improved. The chances of a successful transfer are improved when the mom also does holistic work and treatments and therapies for her whole body health. And so, but for some of us, we don't choose to participate or pursue, or whatever your values are, you may choose to avoid or to not do IVF. And so, what are your options? How can you still support your natural fertility? And that's the whole point, that your whole body health is what's at stake. And so, just figuring out, how is it that I'm going to support my health? And that's for each of us. You know, healthier lifestyle. Hoping my connection. Okay, cool. Healthier lifestyle to make sure that I can improve my chances of pregnant and staying pregnant. Again, in the space of secondary infertility, what went wrong here? Where did we where did the train get off? Um, Speaking for myself, my daughter was 2 by the time we started trying again. And looking back, oh yeah, I had a 2-year-old. My life was crazy. I wasn't eating the same. I was stressed out. I was I was in school. The timeline's up, but like, I was working and in school, and things were crazy. Things were definitely crazy. And so, as you know, I took the Dutch test earlier this year, and I saw that I had most likely been dealing with some adrenal issues. For the test showed that I had adrenal issues, but come out of nowhere. Most likely showing that I've been dealing with these for years. Which I can definitely attest to that. And so, just understanding that there's a turning point. And so we just need to figure out sometimes, certainly in the space of secondary infertility, what that turning point is. But even if someone, maybe never had a child before, as the quote said, where is it? Yeah, as long as the anatomical structures are present, a medical diagnosis of infertility is often a fallacy. So again, even if you are someone who maybe didn't start trying until you were 30, whatever, and you feel like, oh no, all of a sudden I have low fertility. Yeah, something that was brewing, but you weren't, testing the water before. You weren't trying to get pregnant when you were 30. But there could just always have been that sliding scale that that was slowly slipping away. And so all it is figuring out, okay, what can I do on a daily basis to change? I'm not looking for perfection, looking for a way to support your whole body health. And sometimes we just need help figuring out what that is. I have had plenty of clients say, yeah, I eat pretty well, I do this pretty well. And yeah, just basically saying that they feel like they've tried everything, but they just can't get to the bottom of it, can't figure it out. And so while I respect that and honor that, I also know that there's always another rock to look at, especially when you have the training that I have. And so understand that sometimes we just need a little extra help. We've taken it as far as we can. And I've talked in the past about, a lot of this is financially prohibitive, cost prohibitive, because a lot of people, IVF itself is expensive. And so then, trying to figure, okay, where is my money serve? And the internet is filled with try this, do this, work with me. And I understand that, and so it's hard to through the noise and figure out, okay, taking this as far as I can go, I do need and want and desire more support because I do still want to have my baby. I'm not, no one's giving up on that. And so how do we make that happen? What's the next best step? So this is how I work with my clients, just helping them create this path, this thing, because it doesn't live with me. The work doesn't live with me. Yeah, I help, guide and nurture and educate. Because a lot of times, I have an understanding that my clients don't have. I have an understanding that my clients have, and so it is also my job to teach them in a way that the work doesn't have to live with me. So once our work is done, because it's not going to happen overnight. It can take months. Again, we're working with a 4-month egg. It takes 4 months to develop a healthy egg to ovulate. And so we at least need to be working in that realm. But again, it depends on how far back we are, how far away is the starting line. And so 3 months, or, the 4-month for, egg health, but it can take 6 months, it can take 9 months, it can take a while for your body, if you're doing what you need to be doing and you're being consistent, the tide will turn and it will shift and you will see these changes. And again, I can only speak for myself. I took not quite 4 months, it was closer to 3 months to work on my fertility. I knew what I wanted. I knew the timeline. I wouldn't say that. I wasn't like, oh, I had to be pregnant. Yeah, but I understood that the timeliness, let me say that timeliness that I wanted to work in. And so I knew that I had to be, and again, I wasn't, perfect. I could have done better and exercised more. And, I could have done all these things differently, potentially, but the effort was there and the changes were there. Consistency was pretty much, and so um, these are just the tools that we have when we understand natural fertility. We understand what it means to support our natural fertility. And so just being able to lean into that, there is so much hope and excitement and just anticipation in knowing that, oh, I have a plan. Oh, this isn't hopeless. Oh, this is doable. When you understand, I definitely remember feeling like that. So the Dutch test is a part of my program. Every client, every new client that I have, as part of the new program that I have, this is what everyone has to do. You start with the Dutch test because it reveals so much about your cycle health. It reveals so much about your hormone health, your sex hormones, hormone. It reveals so much about your hormone detoxification, your antioxidant health. It's I won't say endless, but it is endless. Okay, there's so many pieces that test provides, and it is invaluable, and that's why I have made it a permanent part of my program, and it's included in the package. And so to understand that, okay, gosh, that is alarming. That is disturbing. This is how I felt when I got my numbers back. Oh, okay. So we have some work to do, which is good and bad. I mean, not in a morbid sense, but it's good sometimes to see the hole that you're in, because you know what you need to do to build that ladder and climb your way up out of that mug. So just to understand that sometimes it does pay to dig deep and to find the root cause. And so once you start connecting those dots, you're just able to do so much with that information. And so that's how I have built my program. And then, of course, all the cycle tracking and cycle track, understand your fertile window, your most fertile days, and how ovulation works, and all those good things, right? Because it's important to be precise and not just out here all like, I mean, it's cute, it's sweet. You could be out there trying, your boo. But to understand, precision sometimes is also um, needed and desired. So, so again, I just want to leave you with that. Again, the last note I wrote for myself was, a healthy body is a fertile body, and we want to get ourselves healthy for so many reasons. Not saying that this isn't going to happen for you, but at the end of the day, you'll still walk away with your health. You'll still walk away with your fertile health. You'll still walk away with your whole body health, and that's also key. Um, because the pregnancy isn't going to happen tomorrow, but the joint pain will go down, and the digestive things will go down, and your sleep will improve, and the headaches will go away. And these are small wins. It's not like, okay, but I'm not pregnant. That's not going to happen tomorrow. But as you are seeing your health improve, understand that your womb health is also improving. Your cycle is probably going to lengthen. That's if that was one of your issues. Your cycle health will change, the cadence of your cycle, how long each part of your cycle is, those things will change and improve. And so it's again, slow medicine. That's my new favorite thing, I guess, slow medicine. It will take multiple cycles to kind of, again, you're in the hole. You just have to work your way rung by rung up the ladder out of that hole. And so I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that I was able to at least give you some food for thought. At least, the title is, of course, I don't necessarily use this language, but I resonate with this thought process, and to understand that I just think the word infertility is very dangerous anyway. So I often don't use it, or I try not to. I think I say secondary fertility all the time. But anyway, just to understand that we can and should be rethinking our perspective on our fertility, and we can and should be rethinking how we seek to improve our fertility. Again, certainly if you also are experiencing secondary infertility, what was lost can be found again, and that is really my belief. And so it's all about changing the baseline, changing where you are, improving your whole body health, and fertility can and will flow again. So that's it for today's little episode. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, if you need me to clarify anything, if you need to talk to me further, certainly about working with me, or even resources. I'm always here to help and provide those things if needed, because I'm just trying to be the first. Okay, I'm not trying to be the last. And so I am certainly here and eager to help support anyone else on this journey to, hopefully also have y'all trying to make me cry. Also have the success story that I have, now with this beautiful rainbow baby that we have. And so, I definitely know that it's hard and it can be immensely difficult. But when I tell you that, when that page turned for me was the beginning of year, when I decided to really lean into tracking, really lean into, of course, the Dutch test, as I mentioned, and just, finding out, why, why is this happening? Because, or the root cause of the why. I don't care if you tell me that I have this, that, and the other, but what is it that changed? What changed in my body? What is changing in my health? What needs to change in my health to flip that script? And so So yes, I am here. I hope that my story can help support anyone who's interested in, also improving their fertility and also having their own rainbow baby. So that's it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll be back next week. Bye.